Welcome to Kaleidoscope, where we open your eyes to something new, all the while being positive, daring, different. Continuing our focus on International Women's Month and IWD on the 8th of March, around the world there were powerful shows of power by women, a true display of strength and of women supporting women. Thank you to our wonderful partners, Skills for Inclusive Growth and Australian Aid, Srilanka Life, CDB, The Morning Newspaper, and Made by Her for being absolutely fantastic. If you like Kaleidoscope, subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
You can now start a CDB iDeposit digital fixed deposit and experience a range of special benefits from CDB.
Looking back at the week that was on CDB Snapshot, some positives. Government revenue gets 468 billion rupees in January and February, a 74% increase compared to 2022. February's foreign remittances increased to 407.4 million US dollars, almost double year on year. While 2022 suffers the worst ever economic contraction of 7.8%, the industry sector contracts 16%. Moody's predicts that Sri Lanka's GDP will contract by 3% this year. And to celebrate Women's Day, Sri Lankan Airlines flew to Trichy with an all-female crew. Only 13 of the world's countries and territories had healthy air quality last year, with Lahore being the world's most polluted city. Nike will drop using kangaroo skin for its shoes weeks after Puma also did the same. French bulldogs become the most popular dog breed in the US, unseating the Lab Retriever after 31 years.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.
Welcome to Srilanka Life News Capsule. Now, Sri Lankans have very short memories. Just 1 year ago, the rupee went into free fall, inflation skyrocketed, shortages and queues were part of our lives, sending commerce and living into a downward spiral. A president was sent packing and another with no mandate installed. Now, on the Pethiagoda pages today, scientist, conservationist and public policy advocate Rohan Pethiagoda reflects on the 8 months since then. Rohan, what are your observations of the 8 months that have passed and since our new president was sworn in?
Now, in the 8 months that have followed, I think even those of us who despise Ranil Wickremesinghe have to accept that things have gotten a lot better. Between him and Nandalal Veerasinghe, the governor of the central bank, they've administered strong medicine to the people and to the economy. They hiked interest rates, they slashed imports, but they stabilized the situation. So the medicine is working. But the problem is that the patient is impatient. And so we have new protests. And the focus of protest has now shifted from political rights, from the economy, to the need for elections. And that's what threatens stability in the months going forward.
But if this unrest continues without good sense prevailing, what is it going to do to the even keel that we are now experiencing?
I think what the protests and the elections that are coming will do is it will see a strong resurgence of the left. This happens in all economies that have problems. People tend to look at social well-being as the priority. And as a result of that, we will probably see the JVP, the far left, scoring very high points. My worry about this is that it will destabilize the next 18 months of government, because remember, we will have Ranil Wickremesinghe as president until September of next year. And when it is clear from this election that he really has no popular mandate, despite having done all the right things, he's a thoroughly disliked president. In fact, he's a dislikable president. And for that reason, even when he does the right things, as he's been doing in the past 8 months, people will not appreciate it. They will still want a change of government, and that will destabilize the government going forward.
So are we that short-sighted?
Sri Lankans never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity, and I think we will miss this one too. So we will go into the next government, the next president's term, with a massive local debt in addition to the foreign debt, because remember, we are running a deficit of 2.5 trillion rupees a year the last few years, and that is accumulating in the form of local debt. And so some government in the future is going to have to print the rupees to pay off that debt or cancel that debt. And then we're going to have economic instability all over again. So the long-term future is not bright, but in the short term, I think we should enjoy this Indian summer in which we find ourselves right now, where the rupee is appreciating, imports are becoming freer, and the economy is slowly stabilizing.
And here's what our markets look like this week. Net inflows began picking up and indices also began gaining this week at the Colombo Stock Exchange. Prices remained relatively stable, with the all-share price index moving down slightly by 1%, while average daily turnover levels remained lower than 2 billion rupees. Fears of a banking crisis led to shares in China and Hong Kong falling, with WTI oil sliding to a one-year low of $68 per barrel. Traders turned to gold as a safe haven, leading to prices moving up above the $1,900 per ounce level as Credit Suisse became the latest bank in distress. American conservation photographer Tim LeMan becomes the first person to capture every known species of birds of paradise on camera. The 95th Academy Awards were all about movie excellence, several well-deserved awards, a few controversies and snubs, and of course, the fashion. While Everything Everywhere All at Once swept the boards with 7 Oscars, the fashion Oscars were also in the spotlight.
Immerse yourself in gourmet luxury. Park Street Gourmet is your single stop for gastronomic indulgence. Visit us any day of the week for some decadent shopping.
According to the World Bank's collection of developmental indicators, the female labour force in Sri Lanka was just 33.5% in 2021. According to government reports, the unemployment rate for females in the first quarter of 2022 was 6.5%. We have the statistics, sure, but what's missing is employer perception when it comes to hiring women and to being gender inclusive in the workplace. In our series celebrating International Women's Month, joining us today is co-founder, CEO and director of Great Place to Work, Shanika Ratnayaka. So Shanika, welcome. What are employers actually looking for when they hire people, especially women, post-COVID?
The workplace has changed completely, right? And the way we react and the kind of skills that we need in the workplace have also changed. And as a result, I think, in a way, more space for women's true capabilities and opportunities for them to be brought into the workforce in the context of what is needed today, right? And it's mostly around soft skills, right? We all know that people have a lot more technical skills than hard skills, but in soft skill areas, I would talk 3 areas. Resilience is something that we're looking for. Adaptability or agility, the ability to be agile, and emotional intelligence would be those 3 areas that I would say would really add value.
So we have had movements and organizations trying for decades to bring equal rights into the workplace when it comes to gender. Have these movements made any headway in changing the mindset of employers?
It is all about creating that awareness first and foremost, Savithri. So that awareness and the sensitization. I'm not saying we are 100% there, right? But it is certainly something that has contributed towards employers being more aware of what women's rights are, what they're capable of, and what they can bring to the workplace. And as a result, we see more employers are open to bringing in women to the workforce because of what they can contribute, right? And the talents they have, the skills they have, and how they can help an organization be more balanced and bring better results to the bottom line and, of course, to the organization overall.
What are the myths and the stereotypes that are still prevalent when it comes to employment these days? Why is it that good sense doesn't prevail at the end of the day?
A primary myth is that, women aren't good for certain roles, right? Or they cannot do certain types of work, including probably leading, managing people, or, they're not probably good at collaborating. So they don't necessarily get those leadership roles or opportunities to be managers or leaders in organizations. Then you take STEM-related work, right, in science and technology or in logistics industry, some specific roles that may be perceived or because of stereotyping as more male gender. The second one is primarily that women are mostly interested in childcare and home care, right, and therefore that is their primary responsibility, and work or career development comes second to them, and therefore they will not spend the same amount of time and effort in developing their careers, right. And the third one is that women need to take more time off or spend less time in work as a result of all of the additional work that they need to take on. Right? So these myths still exist. They have somewhat diminished, and good sense doesn't prevail because I think it's a mindset.
When it comes to gender inclusivity, especially for the LGBTIQ community, have there been any positive changes?
There's a yes and no here, right? On the psyche front, there's a lot happening in terms of diversity and inclusion, right? This is the buzz in the workplace. Of course, diversity is a lot more than just gender, and all of this gender identity, sexual orientation comes into that whole context of diversity. So awareness is there, and they also realize the value of bringing in people with diversity because rather than sameness, because all the studies out there to tell us that the organization will benefit from it, right? That is the yes part. The no part is not much has changed in terms of policies. People are hiring for diversity, not asking questions in relation to gender identity and things like that. That sensitization is there. But of course, there's not necessarily a policy except for the fact that we need to be fair and not have unconscious bias at the time of hiring. Because at the end of the day, the country legally is not open to homosexuality or gay marriage, and lots of those are in the way as well. So it's not openly, publicly talked about as in a policy that an organization has to hire or to encourage LGBTQI community employees, right?
What you just saw was a sneak peek of the rehearsals of Venus United, which goes on the boards today and tomorrow at the Lionel Wendt. It's a celebration of women and ideal for our celebration of International Women's Month on Kaleidoscope.
It's my love letter to all the strong women in my life. It's a play that I spent many years writing, and I think it has some of my most meaningful lyrics. Women's Day in the air these days. I feel so blessed that each day when I come in for rehearsals, there's a real sisterhood here, and these girls really are team players who help each other and help me as well.
I play the role of Angela, the drama therapist in Venus United. Her role in this play is to help Delilah and Vanessa, these amazing characters, help them with their issues through drama therapy. But in the process, ironically, she helps herself as well. And she embarks on this journey of self-discovery where she deals with denial and other issues that come up during the play. And it's very fun to see it all unfold.
I played the role of Vanessa in this play, Venus United. What is beautiful about this character is that she has faced a lot of challenges in her life, which are very relevant to a lot of challenges that women in today's society face. And yet she's a very strong character that is unafraid of who she is and really owns it, and is also unafraid to stand up for herself and the people she cares for, which is a beautiful thing.
I play the role of Delilah, Delicious Delilah. She has such an amazing personality. It's a larger than life personality, which is not defined by her weight. But how I relate to her more than ever is that she does wear her heart on her sleeve, and she's also a singer, and I've been a singer all my life. So I love playing the role. I can't wait for you all to see all three of these characters come together and this wonderful journey that they embark on.
So I trust you'll be making a visit to the Wendt this week. See you next week.